Joe?
You're on.
Good morning. It's Monday, January 10th, the Tufton Borough Board of Selectmen's meeting. Happy New Year. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so our first item of business today is a public hearing pursuant to RSA 31:95-E. This public hearing is to accept a donation from the Tufton Borough Firefighters Association of 2 Zoll X Series Advanced Manual Monitor defibrillators with 4-trace tri-mode display, communication package, full 12 ECG lead view. The retail value of these 2 units is $70,825.22. And the Firefighters Association is donating them for use by the Tufton Borough Fire Department. So that said, I will open the public hearing. Is there any public input on this item? Okay, saying none, I will close the public hearing and I'll entertain a motion to accept this donation.
I'll make the motion that we accept the donation.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you to the Firefighters Association, and I know that equipment is going to be a nice upgrade from what we've used in the past. All right. Next item is public input. I see several people in the room. This is your opportunity to offer a comment, ask a question, whatever. Joe?
I just have a question. Once upon a time at this table it was discussed doing something about 171 and Ledge Hill Road. I happened to ride by that accident the other day. And I was just kind of curious, if we haven't had 15 or 20 of them, we were going to do something, and representatives here too, and about getting some work done by the state to make it a roundabout. It was just talk and discussion at the time. Do you remember that?
So over the years, there have been a number of conversations. I know we've engaged the state with respect to that intersection and the State Department of Transportation, and it's apparent based upon a number of factors that any grand action on their part at that intersection is, if it's going to come, it's going to be way, way down the road. So we have had some conversations about the possibility of doing some changes in the signage. There have been some back and forth. It's been, in my memory, probably a year or more since our last conversation with them, but I'm going to suggest that we invite whatever the district engineer is, District 3, I think it is, or out of Belmont or Guilford or something, to come meet with us and look at some simple alternatives to improve the visibility at the intersection. It seems, my recollection is what we have is a situation where the people, the accidents occur when somebody that's going up Ledge Hill Road primarily doesn't stop as they cross the road. And of course it's a 2-way stop, it's not a 4-way stop intersection. But I'm thinking that some signage on 171 talking about a dangerous intersection ahead or some such thing. We talked about flashing LED stop signs on Ledge Hill and Durgan Road to heighten people's awareness of it as they approach the intersection. We can do things on our road, and as I recall, if they're within so many feet of an intersection with a town road, we need the state to to agree with it, but any signage on the state road, and my thought is, you know, again, signs on 171 that say dangerous intersection ahead or some such thing is just a way to help everybody be more aware. So that's my suggestion, is that we engage the state, get them in here for a conversation, and I think for fairly short money we can make some improvements there. It may not be the be-all and end-all, but it's going to be better than it is.
Is this the time I can ask you a question about that? You know, because we walk through there all the time, I'm always looking at that to see, is there some reason why people don't see that sign? Now, up where Morrow's, the house at the corner, where Pat Morrow lives, was there a Tuftonboro corner sign there at one time hanging off that black metal pole? Was that what that was for?
Many years ago.
Because is there a reason why that pole has to stay there? Because in a way, when you're walking up, and I know when we're walking outside, it's not the same thing as the driver who's going to be more towards the middle, but it seems to take away from the stop sign. It doesn't block it, but it's just something else that's there that makes that area a little busier. And if we could just maybe take that down so the stop sign is the only thing there, it might help a little bit. Anything, just a little bit, you know, it could be.
Well, it certainly wouldn't cost a lot of money.
That's what I mean, it'd be worth a try because it's not doing anything. That sign is never going to be hung back up. But it's just.
Well, in my opinion, the only effective thing that will help that intersection is to tear down Mrs. Morrow's house. Unfortunately, that would require the offering of a market value to her, provided she was amicable to that solution. If not, the town taking it by eminent domain, I think, would actually be criminal, but it could be done. I hate to displace anybody out of the house, but that's really the issue. We all know it. Let's not skirt around it at this point in time. Now, Chief Thompson, who's just arrived, has let us know that the person who was hit actually did stop, but thought it was a four-way stop. Apparently they're not familiar with the area. That's something that you need signage somehow to say this is not, whatever it might be. The state could make that a four-way stop if they wanted to. Again, we have to work with them. It's a tough game, but it just keeps happening and nothing's going on. We got to do something. I'm not totally sure what it is, but I like Bill's idea that we get the people in here, talk about it. Ossipee did it. They got a roundabout put in. I'm not sure that a roundabout's the thing to have at Tuftonboro Corner,
Well,
but there could be a better solution.
Right, and unfortunately, what prompted that action was a fatality.
Yes, it was.
And so those kinds of things get more attention.
Right.
But
The state requires human sacrifice.
to
That's the only way we're gonna get anything done.
to the extent that that there's something we can do between now and when something serious
I'm all
happens.
for the small things.
Right, I think
But-
we need to.
Couldn't you guys just update the town stop sign so then one, it blinks, and then two, it says under? Because I know in some towns they have it, it'll say two-way stop instead of four-way stop.
So I
then
think
folks know
I
that
think
it's a two-way stop.
increased signage is
At least because that's something you guys can do in the short term without the state's permission.
I
Is your
know
stop
that
signs
the
on either
road
side.
agent looked into that and got pushback from the state,
So
because that sign's.
any intersection with a state road,
Mhm.
signage and other devices within so many feet of that intersection on the intersecting roads, the state has some say in what you can do.
So even if
Back
it's your town
fast.
road.
Put them back farther.
Yeah, but then it might not work as well.
Right,
Yeah.
So,
Well,
I
the
mean,
town of Ossipee still has a sign on a state road that says check your blinker. They put that up
Yeah.
in violation of state codes. The state did not do anything about it.
Yeah.
All right?
I mean, I'm not saying you should, but you could. I'm not saying they're gonna take it down.
Well.
So,
I'll tell you right now, okay? I'm gonna go above and beyond this board. All right? Whether it's practical, whether it's ethical, we're gonna have to do something here pretty soon.
right,
And if we can't get something done, we're gonna have to take matters into our own hands somehow. We cannot have that happening. I'm not gonna have someone's death on my head. I'll tell you that right now.
I
Well, I
don't
think
disagree.
the flashing light and the stop sign lights is probably the most efficacious thing.
I think it would be.
Yeah.
And I think we need to move forward with that.
If you get into taking Marl's house, the state needs to get involved with that. As a town, you know, it's
It's a
benefiting
two-way.
the state road as much as it's benefiting
Right.
the town road.
But that is really the issue, as we know.
Yeah.
But let's try to get going with those flashing lights and do something. I know we have other things on our plate right now, but it's got to happen.
So the person on the town road side
Yes.
stopped, felt that the other vehicle was gonna stop, and that they had the right of way, and proceeded to cross and struck the vehicle coming down.
Right.
So that's why I think it's important you guys put the thing that says two-way stop. That's why people are just, you know, going through not realizing that the people aren't stopping the other way.
And they just move, or they're just moving to the area, so.
You could also move a sign farther up, that's a town sign, farther away from the road that says two-way stop coming up.
Well, there is a sign that says stop sign ahead, so you could do something with that.
That's often.
That's down by your,
Right, and often it's not even up erect, it's leaning on its side
Oh.
and things like that. I mean, now it's probably okay, but for a long time it was, you know, it was leaning over.
The more
Things
snow
like
we
that
get.
make it hard to pay
Yeah.
attention to
Yeah.
if you don't know the area.
Nature's taking, Alma's gonna take care of her house anyways, nothing's started to come in.
Mhm. Well, it won't last forever, unfortunately. In the meantime,
Well, I'm suggesting that we invite the state into our next meeting to sit down at the table with us. And if they,
How long ago was it when they hit that tree on the other side of the road? What caused that accident?
Ice,
Was it ice?
it was, well, yes, freezing rain, I believe so.
You know, up on that lawn there,
Oh, I know.
right next to that
Yeah, it was, I
house.
believe it was a
Uh,
willow.
that one was in the summertime, that was, again, someone
Didn't they
going
hit,
across.
didn't they
Okay,
hit
that was a
then-
different one
And
than
hit
I'm
a- hit a
thinking
vehicle.
about.
Yeah, there's been multiple.
and put them over into that tree?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
that was
been-
another crossing the road.
That was only a year ago or
Right.
so.
Yeah, it flipped the vehicle right over.
Yeah, yeah.
we've been fortunate not to have a fatality.
right, absolutely. Okay, do we have any other public input?
Just asking about the Lions property.
Okay, so that process is moving forward.
I've heard that before.
So the next step is it goes to planning board. And the surveyor is preparing the paperwork for that.
Yeah,
And it's not, it hasn't been submitted yet. All right?
the property's been surveyed.
The field work has been done.
Right.
But the paperwork hasn't been
Yeah,
done.
he told me it had to go through the town and then through the state or something.
I don't think the state has anything to do with it.
Huh? Yeah, no, it's just, it
Just the
just has to go to the
planning
planning board.
Planning
Yeah.
board.
Right.
So I think the last we heard, it was gonna go through the planning board in January. All the money's sitting there.
Yeah,
So-
Waiting to happen.
Well, it's not going to the planning board until the application comes in and the notices go out to the abutters and all that. So, and as far as I know, we haven't seen that yet.
Well, last month.
Hmm?
Last month, I thought they told us January was the, but at any rate, it'll happen.
but it's gonna be within another month or so.
Yeah.
I wouldn't guarantee anything.
Well, I know.
We can hope.
Yeah, keep your fingers crossed, whatever. I'm
So-
just curious.
So for a long time, the holdup in the whole process was there were several people that had potential financial or legal interest in the transaction.
Right,
That has all been put to bed with a court
Right.
stipulation, okay? So that's all done. So there isn't anything at this point that will prevent this subdivision from happening.
right. I didn't think there was any problem there.
Right.
I'm just curious as to how far along they've gone.
Right. So the surveyor has been out and has done his field work.
Yeah.
He's not completed the
Proposal.
documentation
Yeah.
that needs to go to planning board.
Okay.
Or if he has, he hasn't submitted to the town yet.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Any other public input? Okay, So let's move on to review and approval of minutes, and we have quite a number to deal with this morning. First up is the regular meeting minutes from Monday, December 20th.
Yeah, I'll move approval.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And next is, we have several sets of non-public minutes.
I think they're all of a piece, are they not?
Yeah.
No, 3 of them are. And you've got,
Right.
a couple of swing ones.
Right. So,
All right, I'll move approval of the minutes for 11 o'clock on 20th.
Second?
all right, well, okay, so they're all,
They're all 11.
they're all noted as starting at 11 o'clock.
Right.
All right.
Okay, hold on.
So,
That block is all on the same subject.
Well, no,
No,
because
no.
when we get to
No.
the 4th one,
Oh, boy.
right.
that's different.
Oh, yes,
Right.
it is, you're right.
All right, well, I'll move approval of the minutes regarding requesting of donated time.
All right.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And I will cover 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
Those are all about donated.
Yep. All right. And then the 4th set of minutes.
I move approval of the discussion about vacation time.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
And
that's 2 sets, right?
yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And then the last one having to do with another matter.
Right. I'll move approval of the conservation minutes.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And we have work session of December 22nd.
Jesus.
Right. I move approval of the work session minutes of the 22nd.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And then non-public on the 22nd also.
Well,
It's attached right behind it.
Yep.
Oh, line, this one.
Yeah. 22nd.
I'll have to abstain since I wasn't here for that.
Yep. So I will move approval.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye. I'm not certain these need to remain sealed.
They may not.
I mean, we have agreed to that
Right,
contract, so
right. Yep, all right, I'll move we unseal those.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain?
Work session minutes of Thursday, December 30th.
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And finally, work session for Friday, January 7th.
It's not final,
Hmm?
but we have 2 more non-public as well.
Yes, we do, but this is the,
Yeah.
you got that? Yep. Find it?
I just had a question. I'll move approval, but in a second, I just need to
Yep.
question one line.
I'll second pending Selectmen Alby's question.
In the first paragraph, Cammy,
Yes,
Selectman Alby asked that he make 30-ish calls. I'm not sure if 30-ish was the term of art that I used. I'm not sure it's clear
okay.
what we're doing here. So I would like to delete the
That's
term
it.
30-ish and just have this,
Make calls.
make
Mhm.
calls to get prices and get information back to Selectmen ASAP. So I'm gonna amend the minutes to reflect that.
I'll second the minutes as amended.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And then the first set of non-public from the 7th.
Move approval.
And this is about a
Personnel matter.
personnel.
Yep.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And then the second set of non-public.
That's personnel as well.
No,
No, it's legal.
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 Oh, I got them backwards.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I'm gonna move approval of the legal question.
But I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right, I'm ready for a nap.
So it's not like we don't do anything.
Right. It's been a busy holiday season for
We're
sure.
talking.
All right. Hey Dennis, how are you?
How are you?
Mr. Parsons?
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Hope you're well rested.
Oh, yes. All right, so in 2021, we had 156 building permits, 34 new houses, 139 electrical permits, 63 plumbing permits, 122 gas permits, 20 certificates of occupancy, and I did 585 inspections.
Any way of noting, you probably know it all, but look at 34 new houses, how many permanent residents that are out there? Any idea who's moving in? Or are these summer houses?
It's hard to say. I don't think any of them are families,
Okay.
put it that way. I don't think I have anyone that have kids that I know of.
Mhm.
In addition or two that have family, but I think these are all, they could be year-round. I think some are year-round,
Right.
but no families. That's all I have.
Okay.
I took care of a lot of it along the way, so I
And
just have to come back to a ton.
you and Chris are working on windows or doors up there at the transfer station?
I have nothing to do with that.
Okay, maybe you just figured out who you used.
Oh, maybe Doug, I don't know. I don't know if we called somebody now.
Yep. All right,
And
what else?
we're meeting with our architects and building people when? It's the 18th? One of these, they're coming back.
Are they?
I think we directed them to come back by the end of the month, so.
So we need a number by then. Yeah, I didn't, I didn't remember that we.
I just wanted to let Jack
Did
know.
they put it out to bid again, or just come
They
from
called
engineering?
back, called their bidders.
Just the ones they used?
So the low bidders from June
Yeah,
They updated pricing with them,
yeah.
and that's what they came back and we discussed with them. But that update was like November.
That's just for an estimate, though. They're gonna put out the bid again, so local people can bid on it, right?
Yeah, that's the other element of it that we want to get a hold of.
Right. The problem is where they post it. Local bidders builders don't look where they post it.
Mhm.
They post it in the national registry for bids, and smaller guys don't look at that.
Yeah, and looking at the line items, I mean, I can see, it's only a 4,900 square foot
It's a
building, it's like
giant
a house.
I mean, like a bigger house.
And, you know, the plumbing, electrical, the cement,
Well, the mechanical's a little different than an average, but it's not
Yeah.
out of the ordinary.
I did a quick calculation on the slab,
Yeah.
and worked out to $563 a cubic yard, which I thought was a little strong,
It's a little steep.
yeah, so.
A little.
Seems like Crete itself is 130, so they're getting some good money for it now.
Yeah. Yeah. 5 times. All right. So we'll keep you posted on when they're
Okay.
coming back.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jack. Okay, come on down, Dennis.
Get me up.
Parks and Rec.
All right. Expect that. That one. Happy New Year.
And to you.
You're not supposed to say that after January 7th. Okay. That's what Larry David said. Anyway, vacation for me, February 11th through the 19th. I'll be in Fort Myers, Florida.
All right.
Nice time to go.
Mhm.
Unless you're
Yeah,
worried about COVID.
yeah, I know. Tell me about it. Dodgeball finals are this Thursday up at the Central School. We're giving out awards and trophies to the top teams. Our next paint class is scheduled for February 23rd. The last one we had 18 participants, which was a full slate. You might be happy to know I joined up with Corey Hunter. I am the 6th grade traveling team coach for both Wolf Road, Tufton Road. We've had 2 practices, so I think it's a good connection with you there. We did receive a grant from the New Hampshire Electric Co-op Foundation for $3,000. We put in for 10, we got 3. I think they funded 15 different groups and total of 60 grand. So, I mean, it's a start.
Yep. And this is toward the bike trail?
Yeah, and kind of concerned where it went, so the girls said to put it to Jack and label it, the bike trail, so. We do have a commission meeting tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
Right, which I'm unable to attend. I informed Brody of that.
Okay.
It's way too early in the day for my work schedule.
So
Yeah.
when you say put it in the jar, enlighten me.
Well, again, I mean,
Is it gonna be in your
It's-
disposable fund there? Your-
like some of the money we had got from the concerts, I had put a note to Jack saying this is reserved for the bike trail. And it's similar to the grant we just got. It was a $3,000 check. So, I mean, is that the proper?
My only thought is that if you get together with the trustee of the trust funds, maybe set up an account, you can earn
Yeah.
some interest on it as opposed.
So who should I do that with?
You can get with Kathy,
Yeah,
and if you're looking for the trustee of the trust funds to start up,
for the bike trail specific.
yeah, if you're getting grant money, might as well put it somewhere where it's making money.
Just the final thing I have is kind of an update on the punt, pass, and kick. It's funny, like when I ran this in Mass, you have 200 kids go out. So if you finish first or second in any one of there's 4 categories, you get invited to the next level, which was the regionals or states, which we didn't have, which our kids now go right to the nationals. Well, we only had 11 participants, so almost every one of them finished first or second in their age group. So they all got letters to go to Texas. Well, long story short, we ended up having 4 families wanting to go. Originally, I talked about 2. Over the course of the last week, talking to them and everything else,
else, and not discouraging them, but two of them really just backed out. So we're back to the two. Talked to them many times about expenses. Plane fares roughly around $200 one way. Both families are going. We want to get something in the newspaper. I talked to WMUR, they want to do something. But I think just asking you people, I think it'd be a nice gesture if we gave each family $500 to go on the trip, which we had talked about, that there was money available to go. Roughly the plane fare, roughly $400 I think would cover 2 days of food and hotel. Hotels are roughly $100 a night. They're gonna go regardless, but I think, that we had talked about it, and I told them I was coming here today to ask, to see if we could help them, so that's up to you people.
So round trip airfare is $200 bucks?
Oh,
Just
yeah.
shipping them one way and leaving them?
Just quickly looking, there's different prices, and I think Cammy actually checked some prices too on, Manchester, Dallas, Boston to Dallas, that type of thing, but, somewhere around $200. That's like with 2 stops, that's probably the cheapest. Again, both families have registered nationally to go. Some are gonna make it a family trip, so, we had said we had money in the account to help them out, something like that. But I think it'd be good publicity for us, for them, especially if we got on WMUR and locally, so. The 2 New Hampshire kids are gonna go to the Nationals. And it's the week before the Super Bowl. If for some reason they do well, which they're both good athletes, they would go the next week to California to the Super Bowl.
Just keep spending money.
What are you guys all smiling about?
Yeah. No, that's great.
Well, I know we had agreed to fund this, so.
Yeah.
I don't
To a
know.
point, we were waiting for Dennis to find out the prices and
Right.
one thing or another.
Your preface of to the point, to a point, I don't
Yes.
think had entered into our arrangements.
Well,
We were waiting. for
I
him
do
to
believe we
get-
did not discuss sending the whole family into taking 8 people and,
Right.
yes. I don't see any harm at all in donating the 500 to each family myself. I'd make a motion that we actually approve the donation of $1,000 to be split between the 2 families.
I'll second for discussion.
Sure.
Yep.
The only caveat I'd put to that is that I don't want somebody missing the boat because 500 wasn't enough.
Oh,
So.
you surprised me today.
I don't know
Do you
why.
have a suggestion for another amount?
Oh, I'm fine with the 500 apiece
This is
currently.
what Dennis has
but
asked
I want
for.
Dennis to come back and say, oh,
Oh, no, I won't.
little Stevie can't go because they're $200 short.
I think if Dennis feels that's appropriate, then that's what we should do.
All right,
Okay.
but let's make sure we're directing Dennis,
Yes,
that everybody, the 2 athletes at least go.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think one's going with a parent, and I think the other one might be more of a family trip. The names are Brendan McPhee and Nolan Cheminsky are the 2 that are going. One is the 12 and 13-year-old group, and one is the 10 and 11.
Eastern European guy, I like that.
Yeah,
Playing football.
yeah.
Play a lot of hockey.
All right.
Motion's been made and seconded, eh?
Yeah, yes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
All right, great. Thank you,
Now,
guys.
before you
Yep.
take up,
Yeah.
people have voiced concerns to me that there's something blocking the access to the ice, and they want to put their
Yeah.
camps out. Do you know what that is? It's blocking that
I
access?
do, yeah.
Can you take care of that problem for us?
No.
No? Okay, that answers that.
I was told that Jack does that every year.
Okay. I don't know that. I'm not an ice fisherman. I've done some ice drinking over the years, but never dropped the line in the
No, I
water.
saw that on
I do that to
Facebook.
the
how
So,
they
so
put
this
it down.
is the barrier
Right.
at
It's
the
just the
rear.
one thing. If you don't, I'll certainly look at it and try and get it down, but
Well, if
anyway,
it's-
I know he was been on vacation, so
Okay.
maybe he'll get to it.
Speak to him after the meeting then. See what can happen.
Yeah, and actually, that's the same post that, I don't know, someone hit it last year, and it's kind of
Right.
shattered a little bit too, so,
That'll be 90, yeah,
yeah.
it could be 90.
Good.
Well, it's,
All right,
Thanks, Dennis.
guys.
some people's
Thank you, good
driving
work.
skills aren't what they should be, right? Exactly. All right.
What is that, chief? What do you got there?
Chief Thompson.
Yeah. So Tammy, is Chris coming in today?
He's right out there.
Is he?
Well, he was. Yep, he's sitting right there.
I can't see him from here.
Want to call him in?
Come on in, Chris.
I'm not sure that, Chief, were you waiting for the public hearing that we did at 9?
You did it already?
Yeah.
We did it right at 9 o'clock.
All it was a matter of reading it, and it took 2 seconds.
I just have some pages.
Okay.
All right. Make it official.
I didn't want you to sit there through the whole thing.
One copy is for you.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You bet. You too.
How you doing? I'm well. Back with this. Okay, what's going on, Chris?
Mixed paper, we're still working on that.
Yep.
Pricing right now is still bouncing between $12 and $90 a ton, depending on what market you look at. So it's still pretty volatile.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still waiting on prices on balers, so I don't really have anything to report on that. I did talk to the gentleman that had come up to us and looked at our facility on where to put some balers, and I'm still waiting on him on price for the refurbished balers that they told us about that had the full factory warranty. So he's sent me some quotes on those. I still think that's probably a good route to go because it's a completely refurbished factory warranty baler, which is half the price of England. So we could get virtually 2 new balers for the price of 1, which seems like a good deal to me. I got looked at some waste oil burners. I had a quote on one about $4,600. It was a pretty big storage tank, so it's a 60-gallon tank underneath it. Everything I'm hearing about those is probably stay away from them. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research on those because the fact of the matter is with those waste oil burners is if you don't have clean oil to burn in them, they're very labor intensive to maintain. And we are in a situation right now with the tank that we have up there that we don't have clean oil in the tank, and that's why we're in the situation that we're in now. We had them come up to test the oil that's in the tank, and we can't have it pumped out because it's contaminated. So now I have to have Safety Clean come up with a contamination truck and pump out the 300 gallons that we have because it has antifreeze of water in the tank. So if we can't burn that oil in our furnace, there's no sense in having a oil furnace to burn that well in. So it doesn't make any sense to me to spend money to buy a waste oil furnace, we can't burn that oil.
Yeah.
So we're not gaining anything by spending money to buy the furnace, we can't use the oil that we're producing.
A number of years ago, we looked at doing a waste oil system to take that oil and put it in our regular burner. And it involved separators, strainers, all, you know, it was a fair amount of money to get there. And the whole thing is, if the oil's got a lot of contaminant in it, then your nozzle ends up getting blocked up, and you don't get clean burning, and you end up doing a lot more service on your boiler. So I suspect that you end up with a similar situation. Oil burns well when you can atomize it properly.
Correct.
And spray it in a manner that it will sustain the combustion. So in order for it to atomize properly, it has to be of a consistent viscosity and not have particles in there that are going to block up the nozzles. And that's kind of what you run into with the waste oil before it's purified. And I want to say that, and again, this goes back maybe 10 years ago, it was like 10 grand, something like that, to put in a system to clean the oil up to be able to.
The names Sharples and De La Valle come right to my mind.
Yeah, yeah,
Of course, being
yeah.
an old Navy man.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So that's you can buy a device to burn the oil, and if the oil's good, it'll burn. But it doesn't address the issue of contaminant in it or particulate matter, for sure. So I guess we're back to, you need somebody to come in and
Take it away.
take.
Yeah, so I've got safety clean schedules to come up and take that 300 gallons away, but now we're back to square one. What do we do about the oil that's coming in? We've got to continue to accept that people's oil and continue to pay and take it away. But we have to start.
So you're
That's something that we need to discuss.
You're gonna get a bill from Safety Clean.
Correct. That's
So that'll tell you what it costs per gallon to get rid of it. So maybe that's what we gotta start charging.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's absolutely clean, you can buy a waste oil burner, that's one scenario, but if we
And
can't,
ensuring that it's absolutely clean is the hardest thing to do.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, everybody wants to do it, says it's clean, because we ask them, is this clean? Yes, it is.
yeah.
And 300 gallons ago, we thought it was.
Yep.
And 6 weeks ago, we thought it was.
Well, and I mean, whoever's, if I'm changing my own oil, it's not a lot different than changing your own tires. You know, you gotta get rid of your old tires. If a garage is changing lots of oil, they're either gonna figure out a way to dispose of it, burning it, or they're gonna have to pay to get rid of it.
Right.
They're no different than you are. So I don't think having to pay for it is gonna be a big issue. I mean, our major concern obviously has to be that people aren't just dumping it out on the ground.
Right.
So that's a consideration. But I think if we, you know, once you get Safety Clean in there, we can look at that number and make a decision on which way to go.
So, and, you know, one of the things with contamination is, the question is, if it's contaminated with antifreeze, so how did that antifreeze get in there? And is there a way in our process that we can short circuit that? And again, it may be such a small amount of contamination that you can't visually identify it. I don't know.
Right.
So if somebody says, yeah, it's got antifreeze in it. If I look at it, will it look like it has antifreeze in it, or is it just a small enough amount that it's a contaminant that affects your ability to use it, but it,
At that point in time, I mean, now you're gonna have to have 2 containment
right,
units, because if somebody brings in contaminated stuff that it's contaminated, you can't put it in with the other stuff.
right.
Then we become a water recycling facility.
There you go.
All right, so do you have any numbers for us today?
Well, I don't have the Summit numbers because I don't have total Summit numbers because I have the waste management. I have some rough ideas. We've sent out 11 municipal solid waste containers. We sent out 12 construction debris containers.
Mhm.
We sent out 3 plastic containers. We sent out 4 loads of brush. We sent out 1 electronics container. We sent out a load of lead acid batteries, which was 1 pallet. 1 load of tires. A truckload of crushed beverage cans, which was 10 tons.
So,
10 tons of aluminum?
so do you have any sense yet for how 2021 compares to 2020 in terms
We
of
were up,
totals?
we were up in MSW and construction debris a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. Everything else was
5%, 10%?
probably, I thought 5%. And everything else was pretty much even. Glass was about even. Plastic might have been up just a smidge. Everything else was about even.
Yeah, the MSW is 10% over budget right now. So you must be 10% over.
I think that was maybe due to the container hauling and just a little bit due to tonnage.
Because that's really the only, well, wait a second.
I'll know better when I get the December bills. I haven't got the December bills yet. I'm expecting it'll be about 25,000 for MSW and probably around 10,000 for CD.
Okay. And
The income was, parting metal was 4,870 for the lead acid batteries and the aluminum cans. We did about 6,400 in construction debris and usage fees. So about $10,000 in fees for the month.
okay. So I know you don't have all of the pricing with respect to the equipment you need for paper. And we were talking before about sort of a throw it against the wall number, and I think that was 25 grand, but I may be wrong. So we're gonna be talking about warrant articles a little bit later in today's meeting, and we need a number to work with today. That's not to say that it will be the final number we put on the warrant, but at least to keep the conversation moving forward.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so we were talking 25,000 before. Is that a good number, or is that, you think that's gonna be short?
What route are we going? What route do you think we'll go?
So, you made a recommendation to us, right? And that's what we're following at this point. And the number that I ended up with was 25,000. Just notes that I took in a previous conversation, I may be wrong. So you tell me what we need, that's what we're gonna pursue.
Well, if we go with those balers in that container,
Right.
so we're talking. 25 should do it.
25
That-
25 is good for the reconditioned balers
And
and,
put it in the container.
right.
Minus the expense of the labor.
Labor's in the
Right.
operating budget.
Yeah,
Right.
that's 25 should cover it. Because we
Yeah.
can fit the electrician out of the operating budget.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
All right, good.
yeah.
Any other questions for Chris today?
He should get the balers for 16 and,
And nine will take care of the container.
yeah,
Okay.
that should be fine.
I would recommend that you put heavy thought into future projects. Start alerting us to those as soon as possible.
Yeah, well,
I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
I have a few like in mind that I can start putting on paper.
All right? Because right after town meeting, if we start talking about these things, we might be able to get something accomplished in the next round.
Okay.
Sooner is always better.
Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
that information.
So you're all set for sand and salt up there? It's pretty slippery outside.
Yes, it is. Very slippery. Yep. Thanks for taking good care of us.
Good.
Excellent.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
Hey.
Watch your step out there.
Yeah, no kidding.
I recommend golf shoes, not warm.
All right.
Is it water? Is that in-
All right. Here's a signature file. Or you just sent us. We have a notice of appointment as boat permit agents to Matthew Young and David Ladd for the calendar year 2022.
I'll move we appoint those two characters.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Want that directly quoted in the minutes, those two characters. That's the motion.
It's interesting.
So make them more
Oh,
lively.
Exactly.
Minutes are not required to be verbatim.
Oh,
That's my statute.
I know.
So, and just, I'll mention it for, just so everybody doesn't lose sight of this, that what this does is this allows the two marinas in town to sell boat registrations or re-registrations. And when they are sold through the two local agents, part of the registration cost comes directly to the town. So you can also go directly to the state and do your registrations there, and they get all the money. So the registration agent gets a fee, and the town gets some benefit from having the registrations done here. But you don't save any money if you go to the state. It just all goes directly to the
How
state.
much of a cut does the town get?
I don't remember. But it's fine. Oh, I see we got, all right, so next is a notice of intent to cut for 56-3-11.
$25,000.
That's what we got last year. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
I'll make a motion that we sign the intent to cut.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? 2. And next, we have a holiday schedule for the transfer station for 2022. This is revised from what we had previously approved. I think it adjusts some of the days to the actual day rather than,
Correct, it's 7 days out of 52.
okay. All right. So, and the reason that we have a different holiday schedule for transfer station is because many times actual holidays fall on days that the transfer station is open. So,
No, it's closed.
Closed.
It's closed.
No, no,
The holiday falls on a Monday and they're closed on Mondays. Is that what you're saying?
no.
Sorry.
No, the actual holiday falls on a day that they're open, but that the town offices are closed.
Correct.
So if the holiday's on a Saturday or Sunday, the real holiday, the town employees in the Monday through Friday departments will either have a holiday on a Friday or a Monday. But if it's a Saturday is the actual day, then the transfer station is taking that day rather than a day that they're not working as the holiday.
So,
So I think the effect is that there are several actual normal transfer station days that they're closed for holidays.
So the only ones that got changed were the actual Monday holidays, which they're closed.
The Monday,
So Monday, the 17th, for example.
right,
so I guess I'm a little bit concerned about it, in that we've got 8 Sundays now that are gonna be closed. And Christmas, you're closed all weekend, and then they're not open again until, what, Wednesday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday, right?
Tuesday.
Yeah, I got a lot of pushback on that this year.
Yeah, I did too, on this year's
Mhm.
schedule. So you close Saturday, New Year's Day, which is fine. When is the New Year's holiday?
For
So
2022,
Yeah,
that was
be Sunday.
last New Year's, well,
this past one was Saturday the 1st. So next year will be Sunday the 1st.
right.
it's showing January 1st, Sunday, Saturday.
So, and the
That was
holiday, the
this
holiday
year.
here
That
was
was-
Monday.
What is this sheet?
So they were closed on New Year's Day,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that'd be on
But,
okay.
well, I'm sorry, this wasn't something we discussed with.
I'd like to take a copy of that with me so that I can review it sitting in front of a calendar myself.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
need to-
And there's no hurry on that, eh?
So the next holiday is
Next
next
holiday
week.
is Civil Rights Day on the 16th.
Yep.
There. So they're, oh, so they want to be closed the Sunday before the Monday holiday.
Right.
I got it. Yeah, I don't want to just shuffle this through, because
Yep.
I'd be happier, I think, giving them Tuesday or off as opposed to Sunday. I mean, you have to think about how
Right.
people use the place.
Right.
Right. Well, again, when Christmas Day or New Year's Day or Easter, they won't be closed. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But the created holidays like Martin Luther King Day, President's Day, all that kind of thing.
Or the follow, I mean, if you got a Monday holiday and now they want to shift that to Sunday,
Yeah.
that's the question
Yeah.
in my mind.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Again, I'd like to take a copy of that home and sit
Yeah.
with my calendar and go
Well,
over that a little tighter.
again, I apologize, I didn't even remember that this was coming back up, and this needs to be, have further conversation with our
Okay.
transfer station.
Yeah, let's bring Chris
Yeah.
back in too.
Yeah, I mean, there's no, for all of the created 3-day weekend holidays, I'm not sure why we have to do a Sunday as opposed to another day that the transfer station's normally open.
Right.
Because Saturday and Sundays are the busy days, for sure. So, all right. And this other item has a question. The grant paperwork is different than what we've done. This is on milfoil. So we have a grant award this year of 50% of what we will be spending for milfoil control, which would be could be a total of $16,000. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Let's see, no, a total of $11,385 if all the work gets done. But
So
one of the
11,000 is the total, or is that's our half?
11,000 is that's the reimbursement piece, and I think she said it's 50%, which means that 22,000 would be the total if all of the herbicide and harvesting.
So are we gonna be doing another warrant article for milfoil? or is
No,
that come out
because
of
we have
trust?
like $30,000 in the expendable trust. So part of it will be coming from the state, part of it will be coming from money we've already set aside. So we shouldn't need to do that. But there's a different certificate of authority than in the past, and I question if it's the correct one for us to use. And I sent an email out to her and I haven't heard back. So we don't have to sign it today. She wants it by the February 11th. We'll get it to her before then.
Yeah, we're gonna need it 2 more times.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. All right. Action items. So, first thing we want to get to is work on our articles for the warrant.
I'm just gonna grab Kathy because she wanted to come in.
Yep. What's that?
I'm just talking to myself.
Oh,
Did you get an intelligent answer?
No.
I rest my case.
hey, Ken.
Hey.
All right, so you put together some wording for us on potential articles for the warrant.
Yes.
These are all items we've been talking about. So the first one, and I'm going to suggest at this point that we use letters on them rather than numbers, because we'll put them in numerical order once we finalize what we're going to do with them. And if we put numbers on them now and then we change the numbers later, then it becomes confusing.
Okay.
So I'll call it Article A, which is $124,625 is the fourth and final installment toward fire apparatus that we acquired in 2018.
Do you have a motion?
Do you need a motion on that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept Article A as written in the amount of $124,625 to pay a fourth and final installment toward the fire truck acquired in 2018.
And I will say that the wording on these, before we finalize it, will all be wording that DRA likes, because if it isn't, we run into a problem. So,
Right.
and so as we go through the process, there's back and forth with our representative at DRA to get, all right, so it's been moved, did we second?
Yeah, I think I seconded it.
Okay,
I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
opposed? Okay, the next article, which we'll call Article B, see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $400,000 for the preparation and paving of town roads. This is the number for regular road rebuild that we've been talking about for this year. And it's up from last year, which was 370,000. And as I recall, what we're talking about paving this year is North Line, some work on Federal Corner, and Canaan Road. Right?
I think so.
Yeah. All right. I'll entertain a motion for that.
I would make a motion that we approve the article for preparation and paving of town roads for $400,000 for discussion.
I'll second.
Okay?
The only discussion item I have is that I feel that this is in keeping with the recommendations, dollar-wise, of the Lakes Region Planning Committee study they did on our paving and our roads. So the increase that people will see is indeed in keeping with that study.
Yeah.
So 500,000.
No, 400,000.
Yeah, but we're gonna end up spending 500,000. All right. I guess I can't remember those.
Yeah, well, again, we have a lot of wants that we're looking at here.
Right, I mean, I think it's gonna come down to a choice between a dump truck and paving, in my estimation. Is that, we're $1.2 million.
I've made my choice, and it's paving.
Yeah, all right. Just so long as we're all
Yeah.
working in the same direction. And I think, I would sooner, I'm sure our road agent will watch these minutes on YouTube or wherever they're broadcast, but I would sooner presume that we might have to hire some plowing done next fall
Mhm.
than I would buy a $200,000 pickup or dump truck.
Totally
this year.
agree.
And go one more year, because we're staring down the gun barrel of that $350,000 for the police station as
Yep.
well, so.
Yep. So, and I guess, I mean, we're kind of all over.
It has to go as a
All
piece.
three of these are tied together, okay? The plow truck is something that, that we need to maintain the roads. And the current truck is having increasing maintenance issues. One of the things, perhaps if we're not gonna do a truck this year, maybe we need to throw some more money in the maintenance budget for the existing truck. Just a thought. Or we're gonna say we're just gonna park it and we'll,
Let it snow.
and we'll rely on other equipment.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, I think with the current road agent and the equipment that he has from his other business that he can make available to do the work, that one way or the other, he gets it done.
I agree with that as well.
The town bought a plow truck, the old six-wheeler, before I was here.
Mhm.
And for some reason, the town decided they needed to buy a truck rather than have the road agent furnish all of the equipment.
The vote was to buy another six-wheeler for the town. However, the road agent came in with the 10-wheeler with a used body proposal.
No, I'm talking before that, before that. So the six-wheeler that was replaced was bought before I moved to town. It was
Oh, yeah.
back,
It was old.
and it was, 2000, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Right.
Did the town have a truck before that? Was that the first time?
And the town had a truck before that.
Okay, so, anyway,
Yeah, with the discussion about having equipment, I mean, we didn't have loaders until we decided to have loaders, but
Right.
there was a point in time, up until I think the 90s, when the road agent just
that was his deal.
provided
Did it.
Mhm.
what was going on.
Yep.
But he's sitting on $15,000 in his winter budget right now from last year, unspent. So if we presume that this winter is gonna be the same or like last
Yeah.
winter, he should have money enough come winter time to hire a truck if he has to. And $15,000 will buy some snowstorms. The other complicating factors, I mean, Wolfboro seems to think they've found the golden goose, but there are no trucks out there, so even if we put $250,000
Right.
on the budget. you
Could
know,
be
finding
years before we
one's
can
gonna
get
be-
one.
Yeah.
Finding one's gonna be a hard thing to do,
Right.
so. At any rate, we're still on paving.
We are, right.
side.
So the motion on the table is for $400,000 for preparation of paving, traditional
And we're ready
roads.
to vote on that, I don't know.
Hmm?
You guys
Yep.
are.
I am.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
Okay,
All right.
so that's B.
All right. So the next article, which we'll call C, is to raise and appropriate the sum of $100,000 for the preparation and paving of tough-to-grow neighborhood roads. And this is residential streets that are not regular through town roads. And this was part of the discussion that we've been having about a way to get all of the residential streets that are paved in town that are deteriorating on the schedule and addressed on an ongoing basis. And it was our feeling that if we make it a separate article, then it helps us focus on doing both the major roads in town and the neighborhood streets that have been suffering from some deferred maintenance.
So I'll make a motion, we approve Article C for $100,000 for neighborhood paving.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. The next article is, which will be D, is for the annual contingency fund, $5,000. And this provides an avenue for the town to spend funds on, in an area where there is nothing that has been budgeted and no anticipated costs and unanticipated expense that comes up that for which we have no budgeted funds. This is something that we've been doing every year for maybe 10 years, something like that.
Quite some time.
Yeah.
And
All right, I'll make a motion that we accept the contingency fund amount at $5,000.
I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Next article, Article E. See if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $70,000 to purchase and equip a new vehicle for the police department. motion on that?
You better make it.
Hmm?
You better make the motion.
So I will move Article E.
And the I'll second for discussion. The $70,000 was established by what? I don't remember seeing anything.
So,
I thought CIP had it at 80, but I could be wrong.
you know, quite honestly, it's, I don't remember where it came from. So, and it's not a final number at this point. It may be what we,
So do you want to wait? I mean, I would just as soon not vote twice.
it's fine. Yep.
Maybe we should have the police chief
Yep.
come in and
Yep.
defend his cruiser
Yep.
with a number, and maybe give us some idea of how available they are. Once again, I'm not sure.
Right.
He has a hard time getting them into service the same year anyway, but it could be even worse next year, or this year. given
Well,
the
if we can
availability.
continue in discussion, I would like to speak on this. You know exactly what I'm gonna say. We can put brand-new motors in 2 cruisers, have the bodies, minor repairs done, and put all new running gear under them for $80,000 easily. And only one has to be out of service at a time, and we do have spares. That would give us a chance to establish a capital reserve fund in 2023, and then going forward in a couple of years, have enough money to actually do this with a capital reserve fund. That's an opinion on my part, but based on what I've seen for a citizen showing me what he had done, and my research on brand-new motors, not rebuilt, I think it'd be better off to spend our money in that direction than buying a new cruiser. And we have those cruisers, we don't have to wait for those to come available or become equipped. And that's my opinion.
I guess following that train of thought along.
Please do.
You're not gonna get the police chief to do the research involved to make that happen. So that would put the burden on
Somebody else.
somebody else, this board.
Yes, it would.
So I think if we're gonna have the chief come in with his proposal for a new cruiser, we should have the pretty solid numbers on what this alternative might cost. Any suggestions?
Without taking a cruiser to a body shop
Yeah.
to know what needs to be done, it's gonna be very difficult to do that, and I admit that.
Yeah, I'm not so much worried about the body work as I am about the
Okay?
because I think that's gonna be more expensive if you start
Yeah.
replacing engines and
Yep.
drive lines.
Yep.
Tires, that's what I think it's a make and model. This is obviously some shop that you became aware of through somebody.
Yes.
So if we gave them the make and model of our police cruiser, could they give us
Possibly.
a budget number to deal with?
Yep, makes good sense. I'll do my best to find that out.
Yeah.
And
I think it's kinda hard.
I think it warrants looking into, and I do think we need to be careful. You recall, was it 2 years ago that we had special work at a special shop done on the 10-wheeler at some considerable expense, and this was going to take care of all kinds of things.
Yeah.
This was pushed by a particular individual,
Yeah.
and
It was
we
special.
spent the money to get it done. It didn't really address issues that were there. So
But I think without looking at,
I think it makes sense to look at all
look at the real
alternatives.
numbers and
Yeah.
then make a decision.
Right, absolutely.
All right.
I was just gonna suggest, I know the county is putting a few of their cruisers up for auction at a really low price. I don't know if that's a feasible option for the town, but it might be something worth looking into.
Buying their cruisers? Is that
Maybe
what
the
you're
county,
suggesting?
maybe the county could even consider gifting one.
Yeah, that's what
Well,
happens.
I'm not sure that they're in any better condition or less
I
mileage.
think that's the only thing, is it
than
probably,
what
they
we
probably,
have.
they're getting rid of them for the same reason
So
you guys are getting a
when
new
we
one.
retire,
But-
when we retire a vehicle, we auction it off as well. And the real issue is,
Someone gets a nice vehicle and runs it for another 10 years is the real issue, for not much money.
yeah. Okay,
The Blues Brothers.
Yep.
You're on a mission from God. So we're
All
gonna
right.
wait on this one.
So we'll wait on E. All right. And the next one is the town truck. I think our inclination at this point is where that one we just said.
Yeah.
All right.
So F becomes the balers.
F becomes the baler and container for recycled paper storage at the transfer station.
And
$25,000.
remind me, is Chris happy with the 25,000?
That's what he said.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we warrant $25,000 for the purchase of balers and containers for paper recycling.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
I have a question. Do you want me to put in for paper recycling in that warrant article, or just leave it as is?
I guess the chair can speak to it, but my feeling would be that we could expand the wording a bit, but I don't want to limit ourselves to,
Okay, so you want to leave it alone?
yeah.
Okay.
And we can explain it at the town meeting, what
Okay.
we're gonna do with it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, if we're too specific in the article, then it
Right.
prevents
Ties
us
our
from
hands.
doing something that we actually need to do there.
Okay.
All right. So the next one is additional money to build the new police facility. And the wording on that, I think we will need to change.
Okay.
Because we're not adding this to the capital reserve.
That was a suggestion I had made to Kathy,
Yes,
so it's not Kathy's fault that
Yep, okay.
that happened. My thinking being that we have to put it somewhere,
Okay,
or we just,
Chip
given
fell.
the history of this police
Yeah.
station,
right.
what happens if we don't put that language in and it starts getting pushed out to 2023 or something?
So, and we can do that, but we also need to include in the article the authority to spend that money.
Right.
So, right now, from last year, we have 177,000 and change that we're authorized to spend,
Right.
including grant money. So, we're looking to add another roughly $400,000. And I think putting it in the capital reserve fund is a good place to put it. But we also have to authorize the board to expend it, or
Exactly. Or we
or
can't use what it
then
just
just
sits
go
there.
back again.
Right.
Yep.
Right, and there was that discussion with our builders and architects that they may need capitalization for a product that you buy in March or
Yeah.
deposit in March and
Right.
get delivered in August.
So we're gonna have to change the wording on that. The budget committee hasn't voted on it yet,
They haven't voted on any of these.
so that's,
Right.
so 6-0 doesn't.
Yeah, that's just a copy from.
Right.
I just stuck something in there to
Right.
hold it over.
Right.
God, don't, yeah.
Don't presuppose with them.
So I'm going to suggest that we append the article with wording that says, and to authorize,
Authority to spend.
yeah,
The Board of Selectmen.
yeah.
As agents to expend, yeah.
Well, we are agents to expend,
Right,
but
but that's wordage I've seen
Yeah.
before in a while.
Authorize the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah.
I'll look up some past. Okay.
Has there been a motion on this?
I don't think so.
Well, I'll move that we create a warrant article for $368,407 for the police facility.
I'll second that in the interest of keeping the meeting moving.
Okay? Any discussion? So, one thing that I will mention at this point and it's related from a funding standpoint, not specifically with the police facility, but it could be, is the feds came out with their final rule on expenditure of the state and local fiscal recovery funds that were sent out last year. And a key provision of that, or one of the areas that it could be used on, is to replace lost public sector revenue. Of course, we said, well, we don't think we're losing any revenue, and earlier we had some information come through the municipal association that, well, yeah, they have this whole formula. So you plug into this formula, and regardless of whether you think you're losing revenue or not, it assumes some things that say that you should have growth of revenue of such and such. Well, here's what the final rule says. Final rule offers a standard allowance for revenue loss of $10 million, allowing recipients to select between a standard amount of revenue lost or complete a full revenue loss calculation. Recipients that select the standard allowance may use that amount, in many cases their full award, which it would be for us, for government services with streamlined reporting requirements. So
You're gonna have $10 million worth of revenue.
no. But our revenue from this fund is $253,244 in 2 increments. We get an increment in 21, and we're supposed to get an increment in 22. So that is, I believe, money that we could allocate toward this project. Again, we'll have to dig into the details a little more and make sure that the definition of what did I say it was here? Government services. May use that amount for government services that would qualify. But that's a way to put, $250,000
Yeah, now you're.
toward, now we're only looking for raising from taxes
$125,000.
So if we put that in the warrant article, which we have to do if we're going to use it that way, right? We have to do.
So it would be my suggestion that if we're going to apply the funds to this project, that we include it as part of the funding source in the project. I think the issue is if we don't include it here, then we have to collect that money as tax money,
Right.
regardless of whether we use the other funding.
You do and you don't. I mean, if you get the money in after the fact.
Right.
And it's available for the project, then the project's gonna spend $250,000 less money.
Right.
So in October, when you set the tax rate, you're working on $250,000 less.
But
Right.
how would that affect our FEMA grant after we spend all our money, if we spend $250,000 less? Isn't that included in our money, so to speak, as far as the FEMA grant goes?
Well, this is town money to use as we.
It wouldn't matter, because we're gonna have to spend the money anyway.
Right.
Because all we would do is create a warrant article that said $68,000, $243,000 coming from the federal government,
Right.
and the rest coming
Right.
from taxes.
Right.
Okay,
But the 368, we're gonna have to spend
still the number, okay.
Right.
The
anyway
FEMA,
before we get into the USDA
Right.
money.
Mhm. I don't see why we wouldn't. It's only gonna
I'm not
reduce the
sure
amount.
you could word it in the warrant article.
Kathy has something to say.
I'm just concerned because they're saying that you can use it, but they're not gonna give you a final answer of whether they approve it or if whether they're gonna say it's okay. Till everything's said and done,
What do you mean everything's said and done?
the federal government, they're gonna say that you can, but until you do all your reporting, at the end, they might say, yep, that one is a good use of that money, we're gonna let it go. You're not gonna know that
Well,
till the
and
end.
again, I'm not suggesting that we include that in the wording today. I think we ought to go forward with it the way it is, but before we finalize the warrant, maybe we can get some additional clarification on that, because,
I think I'd be more inclined to say, let's pass this warrant article the way it reads, and then modify it
right,
after. I mean, I don't think we want to reopen the warrant article voting. We're gonna run into a problem with the budget committee having their public hearing the 1st of February, and I bet we won't have an answer on this.
Probably not.
well,
before then.
we may or we may not. But all I'm saying is,
I mean, it's
let's
just-
deal with it the way it is today. If before we finalize the warrant, we can adjust it. I mean, I don't have any problem with the public hearing making
Right.
making a change to
Or-
it, or on the floor of town meeting.
Right, at town meeting,
Right.
saying, yeah, it's 368,000, but 250,000 is coming from.
But it's almost like a grant that you want to have the money there just in case the feds all of a sudden says, you gotta pay that money back, because they've done it to you before.
Well,
Do you know what I'm saying?
when they did it to us last year was when they gave us money for specific purpose, and we didn't spend all that money, and we had to give the rest of it back. It was the first responders fund, right?
Okay.
So, again, I think we need to do a little more additional clarification before we raise the issue, but, so,
Yeah, I'd say two things is one, if I may. One, you should call the state's Gopher consultant, right? The Gopher consultant, free service to the towns. They can walk you through all, how all this expenditure works, what revenue losses,
it's
how
not
you can.
free, it's
offset
already
it.
paid for.
Well, correct. The state's already paid for it, but we paid for it with the federal dollars, right? That actually was the governor and county.
So, and where does the federal government get their money, right?
Well, these are all true points, but either way, it's a service to the town,
Yes.
not at the expense of the property taxpayer. And the other thing is, the federal government's given pretty broad latitude over
Yeah,
how this
that's
money
right.
can be spent.
Right. Well,
And so that's a good thing though, because 5 years later, when you guys have to finish your final reports on how you spent this, the federal government, at least how the Gopher consultant told our county when we went through this process, and are still going through this process, is they're not looking to claw back the money. They'll only do it in the most egregious of cases. And if you go to the Gopher consultant and they say, this looks like a legitimate expense.
And that's a good suggestion.
Yeah.
But, right, exactly, and when you watch what's happened from when the legislation was passed until the first interim rule came out that seemed to be, include more stuff, and the final rule is even more expansive.
Yeah.
The purpose is they want the towns to have all this money.
Intent matters in this case.
And so if they make it too onerous, then it ends up not going where they want it to be.
That's why they started and they had pretty narrow rules,
Right.
and now they just keep expanding
Yeah, I
because
think
towns
I'd
are
want to keep
complaining.
it, I'm sorry, I think I'd want to keep it out of the warrant article.
At this point, I agree. All right, so,
I'll make a motion that we vote, the motion from me.
Yep. yep, all right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, next article is for repair of Union Wharf, and the $245,000 amount is the budget amount that
There was a,
we received from the consultant, and he's in the process of working on getting an update.
yeah,
On
there
that,
was an
right.
email,
Yeah, we had that.
did you see that?
It's
Yeah, I was
attached
trying to
to,
find it again. I know I had it right here. in
it's
the
attached
folder.
to your warrant articles.
Oh, right,
You did?
yes.
So I believe the basis of numbers previously provided in my report to the board, sheet repair of the wooden portion of the
You can
wall,
use mine.
230,000 is good. Although we've seen increases coming in at 20 to 30% higher for non-critical projects. So if it's being built in 2022, then he'd add 25%, so. $87,500.
All right, so you want to go with that, 2875?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we create a warrant article for the restoration of Union Wharf for $287,500.
Second?
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, and then the final article, which we'll call I, is for the operating budget.
And the number I put in here is what the budget committee just, final approval for the budget committee.
So,
I don't know if that'll change, but that's what
So
they.
for some reason, we're $15,000 apart. Did you?
The library,
Oh, that's right, it's the
that was
library.
their operating
They
budget
took-
that they reduced
yeah.
by 15 grand.
Right,
Yep.
all right, okay.
Which was actually, if I may say so, a good catch by one of the budget committee members.
Don't give him too much credit, it'll go right to his head.
yep,
I'll make a motion that we approve Article I guess it would be,
Yes.
for the operating budget 2022.
Our number or the budget committee's number?
Well, we've already approved our number.
right.
They've approved their number, so I'm just approving the warrant article.
Okay, I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. So the only one we have hanging
Police cruiser.
is police cruiser.
Right.
And
So,
You said no on the dump truck, right?
Yes.
yeah,
Kathy had, is gonna give us totals on the warrant articles. But I think we're a little less than last year's total, but a lot of last year's was coming out of, capital reserve,
Mhm.
so we'll have to see how
So-
it plays.
yeah.
We're about $183,000 year to year
Increase.
increase. It's 4.1% increase, I think, is what it worked out to be
Hmm.
in the operating budget. So if we keep the warrant article budget somewhere in the same
Yep.
area as you put together there, we had some discussions, Bill and I did, I apologize for not having, you were here, but regarding the contingency money that's going into this police facility budget.
Right.
And now we've got another $250,000 that may come in. And it looks, although I didn't have, but it looks like we're about $100,000 underspent for 2021. So if that remains somewhere around there, I think come next October, we have a lot of opportunity
Reduce taxes.
to, or reduce, but at least.
At least stay the same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
have everything
right.
stay the same.
To affect the tax rate with that money. Yeah.
Scratching your head, or do you have a question? Ken?
No, I think I did something wrong on Article G. I'm looking at Bill's thing, it's 468,407, and I have 368,407 when I wrote it for you. I know the numbers are not made in steel yet, but I just want to show you that it's made in.
All right, so, yeah,
CG,
huh? So 468,
that's what you have written on here.
I think that's,
We determined on Friday that it was 368.
Oh, okay, so am I right? I don't know where I got that 368, I'm assuming I made it.
I'm not
in.
sure. Did I put 468 in there?
Yeah. on
So
this-
that's probably what I came up with after our meeting on Friday.
Okay.
How did you come up with that?
I don't have a spreadsheet in front of me.
I still got everything here.
I just want to
wrote
make
down.
sure you're aware that you may be changing the numbers again.
Yeah.
We're gonna change them, what are we gonna change? Alright, and where's the?
So we,
I just wrote down at the end the number we came up with.
And what did you write
And it
down?
was 368.
Oh, that was the number? Maybe
Okay.
that's where I got
When
it.
we left on Friday, it was.
okay.
Might actually be prudent to go for 460. I don't know.
Do you know?
It's such a moving target, we have no idea what's gonna happen. We're just trying our best to get this thing done.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna move in a different direction, I think, if we get a hold of it. I don't know
Yeah.
this is-
I have 368.
All right.
Yep.
That's
Okay,
what-
so
that's
it's
what we'll
right.
go with.
Okay.
Yep.
Marked on the
Thank you.
paper.
And it's
I
circled,
just
so
was
it
afraid
must
because
be
they
it.
weren't compatible. I'm like, where did I get
Right.
I must have got it wrong.
Yep.
All right. So,
That's action items, eh? Oh, wait. Didn't we have? What did we call it? Administrative
Chip, what did you say
secretary.
you wanted to
So
teach you
we're not finished with the
Total,
meeting.
No, not
for
really.
2021
2022,
I agree.
comparison?
Just trying to find what I
sure.
had, when I had to go to that shuffle to find that number.
Yep.
I lost my papers.
Maybe.
Lost my mind years ago.
All right. So let's,
Oh, yes.
let's move on through action items. Got correspondence from the State Department of Health and Human Services notifying us that our health officer's appointment is expired at the end of December. I guess this is a 3-year term. So
I'll make a motion that we appoint Jack Parsons as our health officer for a 3-year period.
Okay,
I'll second that motion with one discussion point. Should we ask him first if he wants the job?
Part of his
well, it's
job
part of
is-
the job description.
Okay.
He doesn't get
All
a
right,
choice.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. And let's see. I don't know that this form it does require the Board of Selectmen's signature, but it needs to be filled out first. So,
And it's a form to
so I will,
I didn't fill it out because Kathy told me Jack was aware that it needed to be re-upped,
yep,
so.
yep, all right. So he can fill it out and then we can sign it when he's done. All right, the next correspondence we have is a letter from the Governor Wentworth Regional School District with our final monthly payment schedule to the district for 2021 and 2022. And it shows that we I'm not sure it shows the breakdown by town in here, but the total amount that Tufton Borough pays to the school district this year is $7,010,890. So I thought there were percentages in here, but I don't see that. Next item is from the Conservation Commission regarding forest plans. Conservation Commission contracted with a licensed forester to produce forest plans on town properties. And the cost for the forester was financed by a private individual or a donation of money. So his contract ended at the end of December, but due to a late start, the work didn't get finished by then. So Conservation Commission wants to extend the contract period to allow completion of all of the work. So, I will entertain a motion to approve extending this contract for an additional 6 months to allow completion and review of all the plans, as requested by the Conservation Commission. Reason is?
No, that's okay. I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
The only question I have is, they got a donation to pay the forester. Did that come to this office, or did it go into their conservation?
It went to the Conservation Fund, and it was paid out of the Conservation Fund.
Okay, so I guess technically the contractual relationships between the Conservation Commission and the forester.
It is. And the contract is between the Conservation Commission and the forester. I think they're just looking for our
Premature.
right of their going forward. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right. Then, we had an email from, who was it, Lakes Region Planning, is that right? Yeah. On a Lakes Region bicycle and walking survey. And they're looking for broad input on that, not just from the town, but from individuals that live in the towns. Lakes Region Planning Commission would like to invite you to participate in the bicycling and walking survey for the 2022 Lakes Region Bicycling and Walking Plan. Survey asks some basic demographic information and questions regarding your thoughts and habits on walking and bicycling in the Lakes Region. Please share the survey with your towns and anyone that may be interested in completing the survey. So we can put this on the town website, right? And can we put the little QR code on there too?
I believe so.
All right, so, and probably want to post it on the bulletin board or whatever.
Okay.
Make it as widely available as possible so that,
I can make some copies and leave them on the table too, that way people can.
even better, yeah.
Okay.
Good idea. All right, finally we have a correspondence between Chief Shiguri and Lisa Beveridge relative to their Ice Fest. So, so what he has said is that they need 2 officers at the event. And also that they need to ensure that there are sufficient porta potties available to handle all the crowds. And this email is detailing some of what he observed in the past that is brought him to this conclusion. So the event is scheduled from noon to 3 o'clock on the 29th of January. He's asking that we approve the closing of Bay Road to incoming vehicles other than residents during the event after the parking lot is full. And this is based upon past experience. When the lot's full, then people try and drive in there and there's no place to go and it just gets all jammed up. So it's kind of like, I guess you see lots of places where parking lot's full, you put a sign up that says
Full.
Yep. So that's the action piece that we need, is to approve his closing Bay Road except to residents after the parking area is full during the event.
Residents of Bay Road,
Except to residents, right,
because
right,
we're all residents as well.
right. So,
Do you need a motion to approve his authority to close Bay Road?
he's asking us to give him the authority, yes, so we do.
I'll make the motion that we give the chief the authority to close Bay Road when the parking lot is full, except to those residents who actually live there.
Okay,
I'll second.
all right, any further discussion?
Well, that would actually solve a problem that we had last year. I got a phone call about when stickers were placed on people's cars who actually lived there.
Yeah.
In their own driveway.
Yep, all right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right, let's go on to other correspondence. So we've had quite a little bit of activity in the area over the last few weeks. Fire and rescue's been quite busy. Some press release and an article in here about the drowning in Lake Winnipesaukee that our fire and rescue folks were central in recovering the body on. Just interesting to me, this was an incident that happened late at night, involved a kayak and a canoe, two people in each, that decided that it was a good idea on New Year's Day in the evening to get in their watercraft and paddle out to Grant Island from Wolfboro. And none of them were wearing PFDs.
It was chemically fueled.
I'm guessing, yeah. Well, you know how it is. The more you drink, the better some of these ideas sound. But nobody was wearing PFDs, and fortunately, 3 of the 4 survived. One did not. But I think people need to understand that when the water is cold, that the human body, once you go in the water, sucks all of the blood and the heat to the core to try and maintain your core temperature, which means that your limbs are paralyzed. And if you're not wearing something that keeps you floating, there's no way you're going to stay on the surface. Even if you are floating, you're not going to survive very long in that cold water. Anyway, it's unfortunate that those things happen. And
We won't dwell on it anymore.
no, we won't. But it's, we see that with people going out fishing in the early spring in a small fishing boat, fall in the water. It's not good. All right. Got a note here from the Conservation Commission with the picture of the sign that they put up at the end of the Great Meadow Trail to keep people, or warn people not to walk beyond the end of the trail out into the meadow. Wetlands permit by notification from somebody. And property transfer, let's see, all I see in property transfers so far are, must be, they're all no fee. Right? So, you know, transferring among family members or from an individual to a trust. All right. All right, so Administrative Secretary's updates. She gave us a printout from Treasury on that,
Right.
on the federal fund, and have to do some more digging on that. Mailbox is still broken at 34 Durgan Road. Okay, so I'm not sure what that's about.
So during the storm, the last big storm that we had, the two of the mailboxes, 34 and 35, posts and everything got knocked over. The posts got replaced, but 34 is still saying that their mailbox is broken.
Okay, so,
Okay.
so,
Just bringing it to your attention.
yeah. So the road agent,
Replace the posts,
right,
but not the mailboxes, obviously.
okay. So, and have they contacted the road agent?
No, I contacted him about the posts.
Yep.
I guess I don't know, should I contact him about the mailboxes as well?
I think if we knock mailboxes off, we put a new one up.
Okay,
That's what happens.
all
My
right.
memory, yeah. All right, and then we have a couple items in the confidential folder. All right, let's move on to Selectmen's updates. Chip?
Did we do anything? Yeah, I had a good budget meeting. Our friends at the budget committee went reasonably well. We spent the usual significant amount of time on personnel because of the moral dilemma that some members have about providing health insurance to workers. The other budgets that we discussed were all pretty rote, and I think they're looking forward to the warrant articles. I gave them the list that you had prepared. They're also looking for revenues. I don't know that we've done revenues for 22, but they'd like to get it pretty well wrapped up by the end of January. So I think they're meeting on the 18th or 19th, somewhere in that.
That's the 18th.
The 18th is a Monday though.
Oh, that could be, then I thought they said 18th.
I thought they did too.
No, 17th is Monday.
Oh, I'm looking at, really?
What's today?
Today's the
January.
10th. So
Okay,
yeah,
so we had-
Today's the 17th, right?
This one can come down.
So the
This is
18th
confusing you, Chip, because we had left up the old one. There you go.
Oh, that's a problem. I'm looking at the wrong calendar. Okay, so it is the 18th. So hopefully, we're meeting again next week? No.
No,
So
we could meet, but we have to bring in a secretary who's got the day
Yes,
off.
and I'm
because it's a-
unavailable next Monday.
And
It's
Friday,
fine.
Friday we're coming in.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, so we could have a work session on Friday.
Friday the what?
This
The next one coming up.
16th, is it, or what?
14th?
14th?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Jesus.
yeah, you know,
So-
we have an appointment on Friday morning, but we could have a work session as well.
Right,
And your thought was,
revenues.
okay,
So if we could get Kathy she's here on Friday?
Yes.
Okay. I'll stop and see her before I leave and tell her what we
yep.
Okay. And other than that, I think everything went pretty well.
Right.
Usual confusion, but sometimes it's just easier not to answer the question. That's all from me.
So, you know, and as is often the case, people aren't looking for answers, they just, this is their position, and that's where they want to be.
Well, that's
So-
what happened at the county, they used to count the votes. And when somebody outside that count wanted to pontificate, you just listen to them.
Yeah,
They're not gonna change the result.
right. Guy?
Pretty much any updates or concerns that I have had have been addressed already in public input,
Good,
so we're in good shape.
good. Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Uh,
Dennis
so-
said, Dennis,
Whoop.
We.
it's not about the sign.
We'll get back to
Public.
public input in just a minute.
Okay, sorry.
So we'll finish going through the rest of our business, and then we'll have a chance for the public to re-engage before we do have a non-public, short non-public that we need to go into today. Let's see, updates from me. We already talked about the milfoil grant. Ag Commission has their monthly meeting tomorrow at 4:30 right here. There was no planning board meeting last week because there was no, or work session last week, there was no need for it. So I don't know if any applications have come in, but planning board meeting will be next Thursday.
Did they have a meeting if there's nothing on the agenda, or will they go on for that meeting?
It's been so long since we haven't had something on the agenda. I don't remember a time when we've never had a meeting. So there are 2 meetings a month. The first one is what's referred to as a work session, and the second one is the regular meeting. So I don't remember since I've been on the budget committee that the planning board, there's ever been a month that we haven't had one gathering. So I think that's all that I have. Any other business? And Sally, you did have a question or a comment?
Dennis had mentioned a bike path,
Yeah.
all right, and I hadn't heard anything about that, so I was wondering where that was going to be.
That will be at Central Park, in the woods up behind,
Okay, so it's like a dirt,
cool
it's like a dirt
Dirt
bike.
bike.
It's a mountain
Yes.
biking facility.
Right.
Mountain biking, that's
Yeah.
right. Okay, well, it sounds like fun, but,
Yep.
yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
It's not for walk.
Wishful thinking.
No, yeah. Any other public input?
Yeah, before I gotta go,
Yep.
we approved House Bill 50 as amended, which means Wolfboro and Tuftonboro will be the next district for Carroll 6. So you guys got moved from Carroll 4 into Wolfboro's district, and I intend on running for re-election in Carroll 6, which will be Wolfboro and Tuftonboro. So
Okay.
from here on out, I consider everyone in Tuftonboro more or less a constituent, and everyone will get provided the same constituent services as the people of Wolfboro. So anything the board needs, you can reach
So
out to
there
me. I'm pretty
are gonna be
responsive.
2 reps or 3?
There'll be 2. So how it'll work is there's going to be another district, a Flatorial, over that will be the Ospey and the Wolfboro and Tuftonboro district. That will be its own district. I believe that's the new Carroll 8. And then there'll be just a regular district, right, that's a non-Flatorial, which will have 2, which will be Wolfboro and Tuftonboro. And Representative McDonald will be running for re-election also. We usually run as a ticket.
So they combine Walterboro and Sandwich?
No, they put Sandwich up north because it barely touches Albany, which was an interesting decision, but the powers that
With
be.
Albany they put it?
They put it with Albany, Bartlett, Hart's Location. Basically every town up north that's rural and liberal was put with Sandwich. So, more or less, except for
I
Conway.
know that Bartlett also got a count here, but.
Well, no, I know Bartlett's a little bit more of a swing community, but essentially they made a 2-person district with about 4 or 5 of the towns that surround Conway. Right, Conway's going to be its own district still with 3 reps, but in our area it's going to be you'll have the Ospey district, and then we'll have 1 rep, the Wolfboro Tuftonboro district, which will have 2. And then the 2 districts combined will have a Flatorial. So I don't know who's going to run for the Flatorial. If I was a betting man, I would bet Representative Cordelli will probably run for that district, considering Representative McDonald and myself will be running for re-election.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever get another rep out of Tuftonboro with that setup. I mean,
No.
we just don't have population base
Right.
enough for it.
Well, and this goes back to what it was before 2010. had.
Yeah,
And we'll grow up to grow together.
it's historically, well, you may get another rep because I'm currently, looking into purchasing land in this community.
Well, then your political future will die.
I don't think
It should
so.
come to Tuftonboro. All bets
I
are
think,
off.
I mean, maybe the trade-off would be worth it, the cost of living is so much less and,
Right, the taxes are so much lower, the
Okay.
selectmen are so much more reasonable.
That's right. That's
There are a
exactly.
lot of things that are better
Right.
here in Tuftonboro than there are in Wolfboro.
But well, I still intend on being as strong an advocate for Wolfboro. As I will be as strong an advocate for Tuftonboro as I've been for Wolfboro. So whatever you guys need, whatever you guys expect from the state, reach out and I can try my best. And within reason, obviously, I have a duty to be a trustee of the public, right? So it's not not everything.
Well, we'll keep you
100%.
notified on this 171 Ledge Hill Durgan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, we may have to need some.
If you need any help with
state-
that, and I can always contact the Commissioner of Transportation. So,
Great.
see if we can grease the wheels at all and anything with that. But, I know it's probably been a while since we've had a representative that's come to these meetings and said, I'm here to serve you. So, I hope it's a
6
refreshing.
years that I know of, maybe it was longer, Bill, but I've been here a couple more years.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day, Brody.
You too.
All right.
Thank you folks for coming.
Oh, you're welcome.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you for doing this. I mean, when to be here and hear everything you're doing, it's like, this is an unpaid position. Oh my God.
Well,
No, it's a very,
we steal a lot of money.
Yeah.
Well, you probably
So we're
get
gonna
some
go to
satisfaction of
You wanna
helping
make
the
that?
town.
Yep, so we need to
non-public.
go into non-public for personnel.
Bye, guy.
Yes.
Marcus, yes?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hear you.